Hello and welcome back to Raymies Garage, back to part 2 of us trying to refurbish our side steps and the brackets here. So we've got these all painted, they all look fine, and now I'm going to try and put these two back together again and get them back on the car. I haven't managed to get my paint stirring equipment back yet, so hoping to get that today from Amazon to allow me to stir the paint that we're going to paint the side steps with. But we'll get on with this into the wee workshop and we'll put these two back together and we'll get some of this stuff lubricated. So the plan is to try and maybe sand out that a wee bit, just to take any roughness out it. I've already sanded the pins with its pivoting on. We'll give that a wee sand in here and at the other side. Then we will lubricate them with grease and see if we can get them in. And again, that's got to go in a particular way to ensure that the small grub screw catches that. So I'll maybe have to mark them. Okay, so let's just a wee sand in the paper in there. Tighten up my drill. I'll do the other side. That looks pretty clean. These are the two larger holes. Small holes, got plenty of lubricant on that. Not to be too shy. And the same in this small hole here. The opposite two sides. So plenty of grease on there. I'm going to be putting kind of grease on the flat end of it in here, just because that's what that other part of the metal is rubbing on. I'll do that small hole well in here. So hopefully this will keep rust away and keep moisture out of that, and also let it lubricate. Although I'll not be able to do that with the other bracket because I never managed to take that apart. This bit here where I'd like to get the grease right in there. Edge. Although I'll grease the pin as well. that will obviously help put grease on that. On the other side. So I've been quite liberal with the amount of grease, because you can't have too much lubrication. Although I don't want it to go everywhere. So that's us. Get our pin. I'm going to lubricate that. It's not so much in the middle, but both ends where I think the weight is. And this is where it becomes messy. Well, that's me got all the pins in. Took a wee bit of jiggery pokery to get all that in, and we've got all the retaining pins in. We never got these off, these two here. However, we did lubricate them, so it's pretty free. I can feel that, and we've got lots of grease in these two holes here, which are the main pivoting holes, and we'll put some on the outside just to try and make sure there's no water ingress in there, and just keep it kind of lubricated. So that one's ready to go back on to the car before we get the side step done. So I'm going to take that away and bring the other one in. So this one is obviously the one with the motor on it. I didn't want to take that out here because it meant taking the whole motor off, but I can see some areas where maybe we could just put some lubrication in there, or protection here at these points here, and at the other side. On the other side of the motor area, obviously the lubrication's inside the motor in that shaft that drives that, so that's why I didn't want to take that out. So I'm assuming that the motor's driving a gear and turning that shaft, which is locked in there with the pin. And we can't move that now because it's obviously locked in there. So if I set it like that and just kind of dab some lubrication on there, that'll certainly help protect it. Won't do much for the movement of it, I don't suppose, but you know, I've not had any bother with this, of these side steps. They've always worked, they've always came out, they've never been stuck, so they've worked pretty well. So this is just a bit of preventative maintenance. There's a lot of grease there, Raymond, and hopefully get some penetration with that in there. So I'll just do these couple of wee bits here. It looks a bit overkill, but I'm not too worried about it because most of this is under the car anyway. The motor was a wee bit rusted, but I've managed to paint that, and I will be spraying it with this stuff here, rust blocker, which is a film, and you'll see lots of people using that, in particular the salt belt in America, where they're spraying stuff like this onto cars to try and prevent rust corrosion. So before I put that on, or once I've mounted that, I will spray it, and hopefully it'll create a film on that. And I've also got a tie wrap to tie around here. So the next plan is just to put these back on the car again. That's my wee mat, so that made it all fluffy. I'll clean up the bolts and we'll get this back mounted again and plugged in. And then this is the area here where the bolts go to actually attach the step. So I will fill that with copper grease or anti-slip, anti-seize, and we'll see how it goes. Now, there's a couple of wee bits in here that I might just give a wee lubricant, because I can see that in there. nearly see it. That might just help a wee bit. Both ends where it's pivoting. It's in here, I don't know if you can see that. It's in there. I'm going to put a wee bit at the other end of that bolt there to keep it rust free, because if we ever take these back off again it should be fairly easy. One wee bit in there. So that's the rear one on. I've got a couple other wee bits to put on here. And it's there. I'll just open the door. So that's just about to spray that now with anti-corrosion. And we'll get on to the front one. So that's us finished putting the brackets on. As we know, this one just dangles there. All covered in our rust blocker spray. All looking quite good. We've got the trim panel back on, this side panel back on, the mudguard, because we had to take that off to allow this to come off. And at the back we've got this panel back on again, and the bracket on. Again, all sprayed, rust preventer and everything else. We've got this wee mudguard back on again. So we're now just waiting on the step to be painted and we should be good to go. So, and welcome back. So we're about to try and mix half of that and half of that. I've decided I'll just do half and half. I've got my wee mixing thing in there which is mixing away. So I've measured out half of that and mixed it in here, which looks to be about 300 or 400 mil. It's quite sticky, so I'm going to try it with a particular air gun. And this over here is my painting booth. I've got to do that discreetly so that her indoors doesn't see. And I'm going to test it on this piece of decking, because it's plastic. Just fire it on. So the idea behind it is to use this gun. I'm going to try a wee drop with that. If not, I'll have a second gun ready, a different type, an air gun, because I'm not 100% sure how this is going to be go on. So I'm going to put a wee drop in that, test it. If that looks okay, I'll then bring the steps over, which two of them are here. Probably do this one first, and that's really annoying, keeping coming off there, so I need to put another wee bit on. Hopefully I don't get it everywhere, that will not be good news. And I'll set the camera up to see if I can video myself doing this or making a complete arse of it. So, and welcome back. So we're about to try and mix half of that and half of that. I've decided I'll just do half and half. I've got my wee mixing thing in there which is mixing away. So I've measured out half of that and mixed it in here, which looks to be about 300 or 400 mil. It's quite sticky, so I'm going to try it with a particular air gun. And this over here is my painting booth. I've got to do that discreetly so that her indoors doesn't see. And I'm going to test it on this piece of decking because it's plastic. Just fire it on. So the idea behind it is to use this gun. I'm going to try a wee drop with that. If not, I'll have a second gun ready. A different type, an air gun, because I'm not 100% sure how this is going to be go on. So I'm going to put a wee drop in that, test it. If that looks okay, I'll then bring the steps over, which two of them are here. I'll probably do this one first, and that's really annoying, keeping coming off there, so I need to put another wee bit on. Hopefully I don't get it everywhere, that will not be good news. And I'll set the camera up to see if I can video myself doing this or making a complete arse of it. The gun, God, I was going to put that in there. I've got a wee drop in here. That's sealed. Get an airline. Right, let's have a wee test. Not a lot of pressure in it. So let me turn up the pressure on the regulator. That's it turned up a wee bit. Where the hell's the paint? Right, that's not working, is it? Maybe there's just not enough in it. Okay, let's get more and put it in. Right, that'll do it. See me spilling this everywhere. That would be a disaster. Okay. See ya. Well, here goes. Drop the lottie in there. I genuinely thought it would come out that gun, no bother. Right, put that over there. That on there. Get our airline. Jesus, can't get it to come out. I'm going to do the back first. And a quick light coat. It seems to be going on actually alright. See what it's like at the front end. I'm so glad I never mixed up the whole batch. There you are. Jesus Christ. Well, that never turned out like I thought it was going to turn out. I gave the second one a bit of a lighter coat. I'm going to leave them here to dry, They look okay, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% convinced. Certainly better than they were, but we'll leave these to dry and we'll stick them back on the car, see how we get on. Well, that's us done that. The brackets on this side are done, not on the other side, but the two side steps are done. So they look actually okay in comparison to what they were. If you remember back, I'll maybe stick that in a wee corner what they used to look like, and this is the driver's side, what they now look like. So that brackets, that looks a wee bit dusty, but that's the oil covering on it to rust protect it. So all I've got to do now is do the other two brackets, which I'll not video because it's just going to be the same as these two brackets. But all in all, yes, fairly pleased with it. I wouldn't say I'm magnificently pleased with it, but fairly pleased with it. So a bit disappointed how we got on with the paint. I didn't anticipate that, so we had to end up painting it by hand, which is okay. I think the other one I painted, I probably a wee bit too much on that paint wise, so if we were doing that, I just a light, very light covering of that paint, although it's quite thick and hard to spread about. But there, that's us. So we've got another video coming where apprentice Pat has got two leaking rear struts, so watch out for that one. That'll be a good video to watch. That we've never done that before, but we need to change the two rear struts on his car. Be interesting. So thanks for watching everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Cheers for now.